Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you, wherever you are. If you're tuned in, if you're watching this is Uneducated Guest.
Let's get at it.
Mauli Daniel Quist. And today, this is the Zoom edition, the first one. And we're starting this, and Charlie, me, my guy, my G, somebody we are known for like a second. And you know, like I said in the brief video that I put out a couple of days ago, has been like a huge inspiration to me and has really been a part of like, you know, this trip and journey of like understanding what, you know, I want to do and how I am supposed to navigate the spaces that I am in. And so with that said, Ejare
Charlie.
Akwaba.
I don't know. See,
Charlie, you know what? Me, I don't want
once we come, Bolly. Once we come. We did.
Charlie, I want to make you introduce yourself to the people that they watch you right now.
Oh, I mean, I'll be simple boy. Kwaku Oware Adjarenimako. Asanteba, as some people they know me to be. What be introduction self? Founder and proprietor of Simbasante, which is a collective lifestyle brand based out of New York. What else? The main voice behind Enigmatic Perversions, your favorite,
yeah.
Which is a lifestyle social page of the brains behind Simbasante. It's basically the lifestyle page for the brand. Other than that, I'm a straight up Kumasiano born Ghanaian boy who happens, due to the sacrifices of my parents, find himself in New York and have made New York my home. But at heart, as you and everybody know, anybody that knows me knows, you know, I'll be Asante man, Ghana man, Africa man first before anything else. Well,
Original.
You know that one. Hey, I know the shout from that one oneself.
The beautiful thing about today's conversation and, you know, interaction that we're going to have is really rooted in identity and trying to, you know, navigate that. And at the very moment, you know, I've been exploring that bit of myself through, you know, some things that we have adopted and then put on ourselves as people. And so, you know, before we even dive into that, I would like to really, really point out that to anyone who is listening or watching right now, the internet is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. And with that said, when we have whatever identity that is online, you will be judged by it. You will be held accountable by it. So, I want to understand, what does enigmatic perversions mean? Because it's your identity online.
Enigmatic perversions. So make we break up the two words, Abi. The enigmatic and a perversion. What is an enigma? An enigma is anything that appears or seems to be mysterious, you know, that might be even imperceptible sometimes, something that indefatigable something, you know. Perversions is an alteration of any form from its true self. So if, say, you take an item and you alter it into a different form of other than its true nature, it's basically a perverse. It becomes a perverse product or a perverse item. How I came up with that name, I honestly sometimes have no idea. Sometimes words just go through my mind, and then, as I'm sure you probably know this, and then sometimes it just comes together like that. I was looking for an online identity that best describes myself, the collective of people behind Simbasante, and how best it defines us. So in order to explain enigmatic professions, I will have to slightly go back and talk about the people behind it. So it's myself, you have Jenny O'Keefe, who's my partner in crime, and then you have Simba. So Simba gives the name Simba to Simba Sante, and that is like my road dog. We've been together for literally decades, and so that's where the name comes. But if we put these three people together, you have me, a typical Asante boy who finds himself in New York, and then you have Jenny, who is a southern white girl, and then you have Simba from East Africa, Tanzania. And it's what we bring to the pot. It creates this product that gives you a certain insight into what confusing, if you will, different identities can bring forth. What can be born out of melding different cultures and different ideas. It's something that I thought was enigmatic. It's something that was perverse because you have definitely three different cultures, three different people, changing or altering a product from what it is meant to be, which most of the time, if you do that, it doesn't work. So your end result is that it does not work, right? You pick right? That is most of the time what happened. You have three people, creatives, three people with creative abilities and creative mind trying to work something out. Most of the time that doesn't work. So how do we alter that and make it work? And make it work in a way that is appealing, in a way that hits you in the stomach and has a mysterious sense about it. Well, it becomes an enigmatically perverse project. And so that is where the names come from. We don't try to be mysterious or anything like that. It's just what it is. That is our lifestyle. That's the life that we live. We try not to fake anything. My mantra is staying true to yourself. And that's what we do. Just trying to stay true to who we are and what we are, which is Simba Sante.
Yeah. See, I am super excited that, we started off with this, and your explanation really just pulls together where I'm going next with this very conversation, which is the thing that actually prompted the beginning of this video series, in addition to the podcast that I have started, exploring.
Which, by the way, I mean, not to cut you off, but you talk about your admiration for me and how I've been you've been what's the word that you use? I've been behind what you do. I have to tell you, and I think I've told you this before, but I'll tell you to you again, is that I absolutely admire your tenacity and your vim for life, and how you go about doing what you do. Like road talk, all jokes aside, be say like we parties where I talk so, but from the very first day that I met you for, that one party on our brother in house. Yeah. I sense that this was somebody that was determined to get out of whatever particular situation that he was in and make good of himself. And for me, that hunger is something that I've always admired in you. And even this that you are doing, uneducated guess, the premise behind it, the fact that you've been able to put things together and make it happen and start your own podcast. I don't care if it's just one person that's listening to it. That is the Mauli that I know. Like, don't give a who, what, where. It's like he's going to do this and he's going to do it, even if it's just for himself, even if it's just documenting it so that someday his son will know what it is that Papa was about. That is the man that I know, and that's the man that I've come to love. I truly appreciate that for sure.
No, thank you very much, and I'm glad it's a mutual feeling, and we accord that respect to each other in that regard, and that is why we are here. those things are the things that have made this possible. And so diving straight into it, when you were explaining what the collective is and what your ethos is, you did mention being real and doing your best not to fake it, because that's all we can do. We can constantly try to be the best version of ourselves. And so and that ties into the thing that actually pushed the message for us to start this series and start this conversation, which is the subject LAFA. L-A-F-A. LAFA. Locally acquired foreign accent. Hey, you see, I've said this already.
Whenever I hear that is it, what is it, LAFA, locally acquired foreign accent.
Foreign accent, yes.
Whenever I hear that thing, it just crack me up plenty. But anyway, go ahead. My fault.
Yeah, like for me, locally acquired foreign accent, like I said, it's been personally a way of, like you said, I am somebody who is trying to survive. To me, and trying to do it with my dignity intact, or preserve us, bring as much dignity to the process as much as I can. And so, LAFA to me for a long time has been that, and that alone. For somebody like you who has lived, in New York, like you said, you've made New York your home. You and I both know that at least once a year, most people will come from New York, from London, from everywhere, and they come back.
Oh yeah, I do more.
5 times. And the thing to me is this: I realized that a lot of people would try to make people understand where they've gotten to in life and where the association is with making me or like other people know that, okay, they have become a part of that society, that culture, through the way they express themselves verbally. And so, but when it comes to you, whenever you come back to this town, when you sound, so people don't understand why, again, I did post, when I posted the picture of the poster, I put Okrasini and the wannabe. And to just put context to that, the wannabe for me, because for me, I am constantly trying to be something, to, move into a space where I am improving. And so my engagement with the other and other things is like constant. And with you, and this is just me,
sure,
I see you come back home and and that in itself is something that is like super admirable. It's like, it keeps me grounded, right? And so for me, I just wanted to know, as part of, the subject, which is LAFA and identity, is that intentional? And how are you able to do, and how have you been able to maintain that and be that, that person, to me at least? And I'm curious to actually know.
I honestly don't know if it is intentional. And I'm glad you are asking me that question, because I've thought about it. I talk about it, but I've never looked at it from the perspective of intent, whether, and not to get so deep and so philosophical about it and all that crap, but I think it's just a matter of me trying to be as true to myself almost as always when I can. It's like whenever I have the opportunity to show that this is who I am, I try as much as possible. So yeah, maybe there is a little bit of intent there, because when I come home, because of how I look, how I dress, how I walk, I don't want it to be mistaken that I am not here. Like I am not, like said, you're all kind of me TV dana. And I said, hey, so what I say, I don't want to make you just I don't want to make the thought of it crossing your mind self-cross your mind. You understand? So so it is amplified, and it is amplified because it's genuine, and it's genuine because that's who I am. The reason why I come across that way is because I am not trying to fake the fact that I was born in Kumasi. I lived in Kumasi till I left for secondary school, and when I left the secondary school, I went to secondary school in Ghana, for a disco, where it's like I became a man there. And
as
you understand? So, but my point is that
to mention at disco,
yeah, you see that all day, because we did love the school, Charlie. We did love this. I don't know about the other generation, but what our generation, Charlie, we did love the school. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that my formative years were took place in Ghana. So I am Ghanaian. I'm African. You understand? So that forms the foundation and the basics of my principles and who I am. So there isn't any thickness about it. My decision making, how I talk, how I act. The things that may come out of my mouth, it's all my mannerisms, it's all like straight up Ghana. So if I come home, it's just a matter of it getting amplified and being so in your face about it. And I think the reason why it's so in your face about it is because you have those actions which will typically not come from that apparition in front of you. You understand? Like, you have a man walking around with a skirt and
listen, this is uneducated guess. Not to cut you, this is uneducated guess. When you use a word like apparition, I'm gonna ask you, what is apparition in what break it down for us small, because for me this is the opportunity for me. So what do you mean apparition?
No, apparition is that I talk of myself, like, when you see me as I see me, like, I know my shit is not normal, okay? I don't, and it's not like I'm trying not to be normal. I just know that what is standing in front of you shouldn't make sense, right? But then it becomes clear that it actually does. That is like the visual, the optics in front of you does not make sense. The optics plus the actions coming out of that particular person,
it's enigmatic.
You see that one? The job for your mind inside. But yet today, open very good. That is what the apparition is. But that is what being home means to me and means for me. First of all, let's forget about the fact that as I catch home, like as soon as I arrive, I am on fucking cloud, whatever. I am just happy to be home. I love my country. You see, I love my country. People sometimes they ask me, say, you cry, what Ghana do for you with the love? I'm like that. I never feel explained, Charlie, just because that's where I'm from. Home is where I be.
Yeah.
So that all drives that those actions that come forth from being home, and puts me in that space where I don't necessarily, as you may say, need to code switch, but it is a code switch, really.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, really.
It is a code switch.
Yeah,
and that,
for sure.
Listen, you have what how did they talk about tree said? Because you and I have known that in the very recent past, my tree has really shown its ignorance. So
but it's improved, Basa. The fact that we can have like a conversation in tree
put to shame. Listen, Asanteba has said that it has improved. Whatever
Basa.
you say, maintain.
Oh, crap.
And
forget
so,
you, yeah.
But like, as you mentioned that, in reverse, as you are in New York, do you have do you feel the need to also code switch, or like I said in my podcast, I is there the need as somebody who is an outsider, because whether we like it or not, you are an outsider. It might be New York, and it might be the place where it's diverse cultures, like I've read on some blogs, and I've heard some people say. How do you do you code switch, or do you find yourself speaking like like a New Yorker, and having to, and would you, and if you do, would you consider that also to be Lafa in a way, or like how is that dynamic, if that is even like the word to use?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think code switching for me, it's an adaptability of one's environment, right? It's just sometimes it's the yeah. So if I'm in New York, or when I get to New York, or as I live in New York, as a Ghanaian born living in New York, there is a need to definitely adapt to the environment and assimilate. And even right now, so as I start talking about New York, I don't know if you noticed, but my accent.
Yeah.
You see that?
The vibes,
you see that? It's
I
just
see that you catch your body, you catch your body.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah, but it's not even like about catching it. It's just like noticing it and realizing what is going on and letting it ride. But you can. So as I'm in New York, of course, I have to. That is just human nature. Is for you to be able to adapt to your environment and make do with what is handed you. Playing with the cards. So definitely, and it comes quite easily, as a matter of fact. Also, and that's why I find it a bit. Well, I don't. It's something that we cannot necessarily judge in, or should judge in anyone.
No.
I think in Ghana, we are very quick to judge. I mean, judgment does happen in New York also. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I live in Harlem. Like, it's not only in Ghana. Looking like this and dressing like this, and when you step out there, still, you hear it. So, and that is even me that has adapted to it. So it's judgment does happen everywhere. It's just that in Ghana, it's a bit more in your face, and it excludes you from certain liberties that are accorded other people, not necessarily looking like you, or sounding like you, or talking like you. Well, most of the time they all look like you in terms of like your skin color, but like So
like I say, the key thing with having to explore this subject is to encourage us to empathize and try to see how everyone is trying to adapt and get through this world with like a lot of, so they can be able to like fend for their loved ones and the people that look up to them. And
it's not to, as I really cut you off. It's just a matter of having that survivor mentality. Well, it's a need. You need to code switch to survive in this world that we live in. It's just that. It's not it's not as horrible as sometimes we tend to look at it, like especially us that get the opportunity or to be and to live outside of the country. Look at those code switches like we any different, because we really ain't though. We really ain't. It's just there are levels to this shit. There are planes to this shit. Like your level or your plane that you exist on is not where I'm at. Like, but we really the same people though. You get what I'm saying? Like, we are the same. Like, you ain't better than me. I'm not better than you.
Yeah.
Let's just fuck with each other. That's what I want. Don't fuck with each other. It's all good. Like, we're gonna be good.
Listen to anybody who is listening or anybody who's watching. If you don't know this guy, whenever he's in town and we're out, and some people they come close to me and they say, "What's up with your guy?" I be like, say, like, they won't talk to anybody, like. But I see say they dance, they make noise for there. I can't, like, they want, hey, listen, it be vibe, it be energy. So you see that with, there's no animosity. Somebody will vibe, somebody will vibe. So it is what it is. And look, this is simple. It's touched on exactly what it is that I want us to talk about, which is like your personal life and your personal take on this very subject and on the subject of identity. Yes, of course, if we say we're actually going to talk about this, we would have to like sit down and really dig in and bring other perspectives from different places, so we can be able to like collectively come to a certain but at the moment we don't have that. And
listen, I'm down whenever. Let's do it. Call other people into the conversation. I would love to continue the conversation. As a matter of fact, I would like to hear get other people's opinions and stances on these topics.
Actually, one of the people that I would love to bring into this conversation and is One Love.
Yeah, for sure.
Kobolo.
Yeah.
Because at this point, he's one of the few people who also he is the people's person. He's been the voice for many marginalized and really people that have been put to the back. And so, and I've seen the way he relates and how he carries himself, how he speaks.
Jack. Oh, anyway.
So
when I love for one love, when I love for one love.
Yeah. So I believe that this is also another scratch to the itch, and I'm glad we were able to do it. I know that it's like early for you. You have things to do. I have a child I have to go and put to bed. You know, and
that boy, more
gangster.
More of it. Charlie, it's been real, Charlie. I enjoy him. We could do more of it. We could do more of
absolutely,
absolutely.
And thank you for joining me on this platform and on Uneducated Guests. We will keep guessing at the things that we have no complete information about, but with the little information that we have, we'll be discerning about it, and we will poke at it. We'll poke at everything. And you know,
Charlie, you say it all. You say it all. Charlie, we out.
Charlie, thank you very much. And Charlie, have a wonderful day, man.
For sure. Same to you.
You know what made us do this, right? Simba Santi made us do this. Enigmatically.
Charlie, peace out. Double.